Archangel Michael says, "This is your final chance to receive a miracle of money. 48 hours are all that remain, and if you turn away now, the door may close forever." There are moments when the heavens grow still, watching with love and deep hope as you stand on the edge of something life-changing, and this is one of those moments. In these final hours, as time gently slips through your hands like grains of golden sand, a divine opportunity is being placed before you, one wrapped in God's unshakable promises, one whispered into your heart through grace, and born from a place of holy favor that cannot be earned, only received through belief. Type Amen if you surrender fully to God's will. All of heaven has been preparing this day for you, lining the path with blessings you cannot yet see, whispering encouragement through your trials, surrounding you with angels who have been moving mountains in silence while your faith endured without reward. Every tear you shed, every prayer you whispered in the quiet darkness, every moment you walked through lack with your heart still lifted toward the light, none of it was forgotten, and none of it was wasted. The windows of heaven are not closed to you. In fact, they have been creaking open wider and wider, waiting for the hour your heart would be ready to receive the fullness of what has been promised. This miracle that waits on the other side of your faith, it is not just about money. It is about restoration. It is about divine timing. It is about the God who sees, the God who knows the burden you've carried in silence, the dreams you've buried because you thought they were too far gone, too impossible, too late. But nothing is too late for the one who walks outside of time, who calls forth new beginnings even from ruins. And now, right now, something sacred is being stirred, something holy is shifting in your direction. You have waited long enough. You have suffered long enough. You have struggled with closed doors and empty hands and aching hearts for too long. Now is the time for hands to be filled, for hearts to be lifted, for the storm to finally break open into light. What if you discovered a tiny, walnut-sized brain region holds the secret to endless wealth and success? Recently uncovered by groundbreaking research and once buried in classified files, this frequency is now available to anyone ready to listen. Imagine replacing worry and struggle with a life of financial ease and freedom. Interested? Click the link in video description and comments below to unleash this hidden brainwave and start attracting wealth right now. You are not being asked to force anything, to chase or to strive or to fear. You are simply being invited to say yes. Yes to the unfolding. Yes to the grace. Yes to the miracle. Yes to the open hands that God is reaching out toward you with. For the next 48 hours, heaven is holding open a sacred gate, and the light coming through it is drenched in provision, healing, mercy, and abundance that cannot be explained by the world but is absolutely real in the kingdom of God. Miracles often do not arrive with noise. They are not always loud or dramatic at first. Sometimes they begin with a feeling, a warmth in the chest, a peace that flows through worry, a soft whisper that says, "You are not forgotten." And in that moment, when you choose to believe what heaven is saying instead of what fear is screaming, you unlock something eternal. You release chains not just from your finances, but from your soul. Type 2222 to open the door to new blessings. God never promised a life free of hardship, but He did promise that those who trust in Him will not be left empty. That even in the valley, rivers will flow. That even in the wilderness, bread will appear. And while the world chases after wealth without purpose, what heaven wants to pour into your life is provision that is holy, money that carries peace, not pressure, blessings that carry responsibility, not restlessness. You may have questioned why the breakthrough hasn't come sooner, why others seem to receive while you are still waiting. But heaven operates on a schedule that is written in love and sealed with divine wisdom. The delay was not denial, it was preparation. It was grace protecting you from things you didn't know you weren't ready to carry. But now, something has changed. The winds have shifted. The hour has come. There are people you will bless when this miracle is released in your life. There are debts that will be wiped away, not just from your name, but from the generations after you. There are plans that God placed deep in your heart, dreams that you thought had died, that will begin to bloom again. This miracle of money is not just about numbers. It is about purpose. It is about stepping into the life you were always meant to live, where giving becomes easy, where peace becomes normal, where fear no longer writes your story. Archangel Michael stands before you not to frighten, but to awaken you. To shake off the dust of doubt, to stir your soul back into belief, and to hold out His hand as a messenger of the Most High. The heavens are speaking, and their voice is strong and filled with mercy. You are not being left behind. You are not being passed over. But you must not look away. If your heart feels pulled, it is not an accident. If something inside you feels this message is for you, it is because God wrote it with your name in mind before you were even born. There is still time, but only a little. 48 hours is not forever. The gate will not stay open for long. Walk through while the light still shines on the path, while the invitation still echoes with love. This is not about fear. This is about favor. This is not about pressure. This is about promise. This is not about chasing signs. This is about following peace. And peace is here. It is resting on your shoulders like a warm shawl from heaven, wrapping your heart with gentle assurance that says, everything is about to change. You will not lose what God has prepared for you if you choose to trust now. You will not miss your moment if you say yes now. The miracle of money is not distant, it is not a fantasy, it is not far away. It is at your doorstep, and the key is faith. Not perfect faith. Just willing faith. Just open hands. Just one more step toward the light. Archangel Michael says, 48 hours remain, the sacred window is still open, but every heartbeat brings you closer to the moment it closes forever, and the miracle of money that has been divinely prepared for your life is asking to be received, not ignored. Let your heart feel these words as more than letters on a page, because they carry the breath of God, they echo the voice of heaven that has been calling your name long before you knew how deeply you were loved. These next moments are not ordinary. This day is not random. This is a holy invitation, wrapped in divine purpose, gently urging your spirit to believe that something beautiful, something powerful, something completely life-changing is already on its way. Type 2020 to embrace joy and strength in Christ. Type 2121 if you trust God's plan for your life. For too long, you have tried to carry the weight of this world by yourself, the worries about tomorrow, the aching emptiness of not having enough, the quiet desperation of watching others rise while you feel left behind, even though you have been faithful in the unseen places. God has seen every part of that journey. Not one moment has passed without His eyes watching over you, without His hands working in secret to prepare a table for you in the middle of your most difficult season. This miracle is not coming because you begged hard enough. It's not coming because you earned it with perfection. It's coming because of love, pure, unwavering, eternal love that knows what you need before you speak, and has already written the answer into your destiny. The miracle of money that waits for you is not only about numbers in a bank account, but about freedom, dignity, purpose, and peace that comes from knowing that your needs are seen and met by the one who created you. God's blessings do not run out. His supply does not run dry. While the world tells you that you must fight for every scrap of opportunity, heaven reminds you that you are a child of the Most High, and what is meant for you will not pass you by when your heart remains open to receive. But the choice must be made now, in these last 48 hours, when the atmosphere is saturated with heavenly movement, when the doors are open wide and light is pouring through them like golden rivers of mercy. Do not let the voices of fear convince you that this is not for you. Do not let the shadows of past disappointment blind you to the new light that has risen with the morning. There is a softness in this moment, a holy quietness that is more powerful than thunder, a divine whisper that says, "Everything is already changing." You may not see it yet, but the ground beneath you is being made new, and the walls that held back your breakthrough are beginning to fall, not by might, not by your striving, but by the power of God's love working through your faith. What if I told you financial freedom is not about working harder, but activating a dormant brain signal designed to draw abundance directly to you? Neuroscience proves this sound wave unlocks prosperity faster than any method known before. From unexpected cash to life-changing success, it's already helping thousands. Click the link in the video description and comments below to turn on the ancient money wave and create the life you've always dreamed of today. The money that is coming into your life is not random. It is not simply for survival. It is being released with purpose, with timing, with divine order, so that what once was broken in your life can be rebuilt with glory. There are mouths you will feed. There are homes you will bless. There are burdens you will lift, not only your own, but others who have silently suffered beside you. This provision carries weight because it carries destiny, and that is why it matters so deeply that you do not turn away now. Archangel Michael has been sent to remind you of the authority you carry as a child of the kingdom. The enemy has tried to convince you that lack is your portion, that failure is final, that you were somehow forgotten in the flood of heaven's favor. But none of that is true. You were not passed over. You were being prepared. And now, as the clouds begin to part and light shines through again, you are being called to rise into what was always yours. Type 1717 to affirm your life is in God's hands. Lift your eyes from the worry. Loosen your grip on the pain. Open your hands and say yes to the miracle that is drawing nearer with every breath you take. For 48 more hours, this miracle will wait for you with arms wide open, with grace that cannot be measured, and with provision that will overflow beyond what you thought was possible. The struggle was real, but the breakthrough is greater. The delay was long, but the blessing is longer lasting. And in the middle of this sacred hour, you are being wrapped in peace that passes understanding, in joy that returns where sorrow once lived, and in divine provision that will leave you wondering how such beauty found its way into your life so gently. You were never meant to live in fear of tomorrow. You were never meant to wake up dreading the burden of lack. You were created for more, not just in soul, but also in life. And the God who placed the stars in the sky is also the God who can place peace and provision into your hands. Say yes to it now. Believe in it now. Let your heart agree with heaven, and know that when you do, nothing will ever be the same again. This is not the end. It is the beginning of everything good. And as the final 48 hours count down, may your faith rise, may your eyes stay fixed on the promise, and may your life be filled with the miracle that has always been yours. Archangel Michael says, these final 48 hours are not just about time running out, they are about a divine moment rushing toward you, carrying the miracle of money, provision, and restoration that was written into your destiny by the hand of God Himself. If you walk away now, you may never feel this closeness again, for heaven is whispering with urgency, and your spirit is being stirred to receive. When God decides to move in your life, it often begins with a quiet shift in your soul. You start to feel something different, something you cannot explain, as if the weight you've been carrying is beginning to lift even before your circumstances change. That is not coincidence. That is the Holy Spirit preparing you for a divine encounter, for a season of transformation that breaks through every wall of lack and leads you into a place of holy abundance. That is what is happening now. The last few months have not been easy. You have smiled in public while your heart felt heavy in private. You have made sacrifices no one saw, cried in silence when you felt forgotten, and continued to give when you barely had anything left. But the heavens have been watching. God has been counting every seed sown, every prayer whispered through trembling lips, and every act of obedience when it would have been easier to give up. And now, the reward is coming. This is not about luck. This is not about wishful thinking. This is about divine alignment, about the perfect timing of heaven intersecting with your faith. For 48 more hours, you are being surrounded by the winds of favor, winds that have been gathering for longer than you know, winds that carry the scent of restoration, the sound of blessings on their way, and the feel of long-awaited peace settling into your soul like soft rain after a long drought. Type Amen if you believe in God's endless mercy. There are doors being opened right now that no man can close. There are people being moved, decisions being made, and resources being redirected, all because your name has been written into a divine plan that cannot be erased. God is not guessing. He is orchestrating. And this miracle of money is not separate from his heart. It is an extension of his care for you, his desire to see you live not in fear of lack, but in the freedom of provision. You have spent years surviving. Now it is time to begin living. This miracle is not about wealth for the sake of comfort alone, it is about lifting you out of the cycle of never having enough, about freeing you from the pressure of always trying to stretch what little you have. It is about giving you breathing room so you can finally focus on what truly matters: your calling, your family, your peace, your purpose. Archangel Michael does not come to speak words lightly. When he moves, it is because heaven has declared the moment important enough to send its warrior messenger. And now, as he stands with you, he is not pointing at what you lack, he is pointing toward what is being released, what is being poured out from the storehouses of heaven that have waited for your yes for so long. This is not the time to hesitate. This is not the moment to doubt. This is the hour to believe with everything inside you. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not disqualified. In fact, you are being chosen again. You are being called into the light again. You are being shown a path that leads away from striving and into stillness, away from fear and into faith, away from barely making it and into the joy of more than enough. And this time, the blessing will not be temporary. This time, it will last. Because this time, it is coming from God alone. There are people depending on your obedience. There are lives you are meant to touch, wounds you are meant to help heal, and burdens you are meant to help carry, not out of struggle, but from the overflow that is coming. This money is not just for you. It is for every person God will reach through you. And that is why the miracle is urgent. That is why it must come now. That is why the time cannot be delayed any longer. God's love for you is not small. His plan for you is not ordinary. You were not created to live a life defined by worry and exhaustion. You were created to be a vessel of light, of kindness, of joy that spreads even in hard places. And part of that light includes provision, includes support, includes miracles that come at just the right moment to remind you that heaven has never stopped working on your behalf. The hourglass is still flowing, but the sand is almost gone. 48 hours will pass quickly, but the miracle that is being offered can change everything, not just for today, but for the rest of your life. Do not look at your past to decide whether this is possible. Look at the heart of God, look at the faithfulness that has carried you this far, and choose to believe that the same hands that kept you through every storm are now opening the floodgates of provision in your life. This is your moment. The light is shining. The angels are moving. Heaven is speaking. And God is waiting for your heart to say, I believe. Say it with your words. Say it with your faith. Say it with your willingness to receive what has always been meant for you. And as you do, the miracle will not be delayed. Type 1818 to claim miracles and breakthroughs. Archangel Michael says, you are now standing within the final stretch of these holy 48 hours, and though the world around you may still look the same, the spiritual realm has already begun to shift, the atmosphere is trembling with anticipation, and heaven's doors are still open, but not for long. This is not just another opportunity. This is the divine moment your spirit has waited for, longed for, prayed for in silence when no one else understood how close you were to breaking. There are moments in a person's life when everything begins to align, not because of their efforts, but because of divine appointment. This is one of those moments. You do not need to strive. You do not need to convince God to bless you. His heart has always been for you, and His eyes have never once turned away from your pain, your hunger, or your tiredness. And now, He is releasing something so beautiful, so sacred, so full of love, that it can only be called a miracle. What if everything you've been chasing, wealth, freedom, success, could be drawn to you automatically, simply by unlocking a secret brain wave hidden inside you? Once classified by intelligence agencies, this discovery is now available to the public, and it's changing lives instantly. Picture yourself debt-free, stress-free, and thriving. Click the link in video description and comments below to awaken this money magnet frequency and watch abundance flow into your life today. This miracle of money is not just about finances. It is about the breaking of every lie that told you your life would always be small, always be limited, always be less than what you hoped. It is about destroying the fear that has lived in your chest for too long, fear of not having enough, fear of being forgotten, fear of never moving forward. That fear is being cast out by perfect love, the kind of love that surrounds you now and says, "You are seen, you are chosen, you are provided for." There is a reason the message has reached you now. There is a reason this very hour was chosen from all the days behind and all the days ahead. You are not late. You are not outside of God's timing. You are exactly where you need to be, and the miracle is waiting on the other side of your yes. Not the kind of yes that comes from desperation, but the kind that rises gently from a heart that says, "I still believe. I still trust. I still know that God is good." This miracle is being released not to show off power, but to remind you of who your Father is, the God who multiplies the smallest seed, the God who brings rain to a dry land, the God who calls forth abundance where there was once only lack. This is that moment. The 48-hour window is the sacred space between your waiting and your receiving, and Archangel Michael has been sent to guard this time, to protect your focus, and to urge your heart not to miss what is being poured out. You are not too far gone. You have not missed your season. Even the moments you thought were wasted are now being redeemed, and every tear you cried alone is being gathered into a blessing that will flow like a river of mercy through your life. That is what God does. He takes what hurt and transforms it into what heals. He takes your brokenness and breathes strength into it until it shines like gold refined in the fire. What awaits you on the other side of this miracle is not just financial provision, it is restoration. It is hope reborn. It is the lifting of heaviness from your shoulders. It is the breaking of generational burdens. It is the freedom to live with joy again, to give without fear, to walk into rooms with your head held high, knowing you are not forgotten, not forsaken, but favored by the King of all creation. This is not the time to shrink back in fear. This is not the hour to second-guess the nudge in your heart. This is the time to believe boldly, to receive humbly, and to trust that God does not tease His children with empty promises. When He speaks, He moves. When He declares favor, it comes like the morning sun, steady and sure. And now, His voice is calling you forward, into provision, into peace, into more than enough. Type 1919 if you believe healing is yours. Archangel Michael is not here to alarm you, but to awaken you. To lift your spirit from despair and remind you that the God who made heaven and earth is still moving in your life today. The time of scraping by is coming to an end. The time of worrying if you'll make it through the next month is being replaced by a new chapter, one filled with unexpected income, debts dissolved, open doors, and opportunities that carry divine fingerprints. But you must move with the wind. You must align your spirit with the timing of heaven. These 48 hours were not just placed on a calendar, they were carved into the rhythm of your destiny. This moment has been circling your life, waiting for your heart to be ready, and now, that readiness is here. There is no room for hesitation. There is only room for surrender, for trust, for the deep knowing that when God says it is your time, then nothing on earth or in hell can stop what is meant for you. Feel the peace beginning to grow. Let the tension in your chest release. Let your hands open in faith, for what is coming is holy. This miracle is not a transaction. It is a sacred transfer, from the hands of heaven into yours, from the storehouses of God into the life you are building with love and hope. Let your spirit receive it. Let your faith carry it. Let your heart prepare for it. Because what is coming will not only meet your needs, it will overflow. The time is short, but the blessing is wide. The hours are few, but the grace is full. And this miracle, this precious, powerful, heaven-sent miracle of money and freedom, is knocking gently on the door of your life. Archangel Michael says, "These final hours are more sacred than you know, and though the clock continues to count down, heaven is still waiting with arms wide open, holding the miracle of money that was written into your story long before you knew how deeply you were loved." This is not just a moment of change, it is a divine turning point, a holy awakening, a gentle but powerful call into the new life God has always desired for you. There is a rhythm to God's movement. He is never rushed, but He is never late. He allows seasons of waiting, not to punish you, but to prepare the ground for the blessing to grow deep roots. And now, after all the drought and longing and hope that felt unanswered, the rain is coming. The miracle is ready. The fullness of His goodness is approaching like a rising tide, ready to wash away every trace of fear, lack, shame, and disappointment. You may still feel the heaviness of what you've walked through, but the weight you carry now is not your past, it is the glory of what is coming. You are being positioned for a miracle that will not only shift your finances, but will also restore your spirit. The money that is being released is wrapped in purpose. It will bring more than comfort. It will bring clarity, movement, and breakthrough in areas of your life where you have long felt stuck. God has seen how hard you have tried. You've worked tirelessly. You've prayed honestly. You've stayed faithful when it would have been easier to quit. You've fought through weariness without anyone truly seeing the battle you were in. But heaven saw. And now, heaven responds. This miracle of money is not a reward for perfection. It is a gift of grace. It is a symbol of God's unending love for you, a love that moves through time, a love that interrupts struggle, a love that knows exactly when to bring the answer so that it touches not only your needs, but your heart. Type 1414 to step into divine protection. Archangel Michael stands before you not just as a messenger, but as a protector of this holy moment. He is surrounding you now, shielding your focus, holding back every lie that says you are not worthy, that you are too late, that you are too far behind. Those lies are being silenced, and in their place comes a whisper so gentle and so sure, you will feel it in your soul. Now is your time. Do not let doubt steal these final hours. Do not let the weight of past disappointment blind you to what is breaking through right now. Even if your bank account doesn't reflect it yet, even if your eyes can't see the full picture, trust what your spirit knows, that something is shifting, something is changing, something beautiful and divine is being released into your life. You have been walking through a narrow place, but that path is widening. You have been trying to make things work with so little, but now provision is coming. Not just barely enough, but more than enough. Not just to survive, but to build, to give, to rest, to grow. And every dollar that enters your hands through this miracle will carry the fragrance of God's faithfulness, a reminder that you were never forgotten, never forsaken, never left behind. This blessing is not just for a day. It is for your future. It is the beginning of a new season where you are not defined by your lack, but by God's generosity. Where you are not led by fear, but by vision. Where your past does not limit your future, but instead becomes the soil from which your new life grows. Even now, angels are going before you. They are softening hearts, opening doors, and moving in places you cannot see. Even now, divine connections are forming, solutions are appearing, and opportunities are aligning in perfect timing. You do not need to chase. You only need to believe. Because the God who holds galaxies in his hands also holds your miracle, and he is not slow in sending it. Let your heart rest in that truth. Let your spirit rise with that hope. Let your faith speak louder than your fear. For these 48 hours are not a warning of loss, they are an invitation to receive. The urgency is not rooted in punishment, but in promise. Heaven wants to give. God wants to bless. But he also wants your heart to be open enough to say yes when the miracle comes. And now, with time growing shorter, that yes becomes more important than ever. The miracle is still coming. It is still waiting. It is still yours. But the door will not remain open forever. The light that is shining on your path is a gift. Do not turn away from it. Lift your hands, even if they're trembling, and whisper your yes to the one who never stopped choosing you. Because the moment you do, the miracle begins to move faster, deeper, stronger, until it reaches every part of your life that has waited in silence. What if the fastest path to wealth was already inside your mind, waiting to be activated by a powerful sound wave? Scientists call it the money-attracting frequency, and once awakened, it begins drawing opportunities, success, and financial freedom like never before. Imagine the relief of no more bills and the joy of living your dreams. Click the link in the video description and comments below to turn on this ancient brain wave today. Archangel Michael says, "Only a short while remains in these sacred 48 hours, and what heaven is releasing now is not just a blessing, but a breakthrough that carries the power to erase years of struggle, silence the voices of fear, and finally place in your hands the miracle of money that has always been meant for you." This is not just about finances. This is about God proving, once again, that His promises never fail and His timing is always perfect. Type 1010 if you trust in God's timing. For far too long, you have been asked to wait, to hold on, to trust while nothing around you seemed to change. You stayed faithful in the dark, believing even when the world called you foolish, hoping when it would have been easier to become bitter, and walking forward with courage when all you had was tiredness in your bones. But heaven does not overlook those who walk in quiet obedience. Heaven remembers, rewards, and responds. This miracle is not late. It is right on time, on God's time. It is arriving now, in these final moments, not just because you need it, but because the spiritual atmosphere has aligned for your release. There are things God could not give you before, not because you weren't worthy, but because the season wasn't ready. But now the ground has been prepared. The blessing has matured. And the release is here. The money that is coming is not just paper and coins, it is provision wrapped in peace, answers clothed in mercy, favor sealed with divine purpose. It will heal more than your bank account. It will heal your confidence, your energy, your trust in what is possible. It will free you from the constant anxiety of trying to make ends meet, and give you room to dream again, to build again, to love your life again. Archangel Michael stands beside you in this hour as a heavenly reminder that you are not alone. You are not abandoned. You are not forgotten by the God who formed you, called you, and is now blessing you. Every chain of lack is being broken. Every curse of financial struggle is being reversed. Every weight of insufficiency that has pressed down on your shoulders is being lifted by the wind of God's favor. You do not need to know exactly how it will come. You do not need to figure out the path. You simply need to believe that God, who makes ways in the wilderness and rivers in dry places, is already sending it. He is already preparing the exact route that this miracle will take. He is already touching the hearts of those who will be used to bless you. He is already moving the pieces into place. All you need to do is say yes. Do not look back. Do not turn around. The past has nothing left for you. It was part of the process, but it is not your destination. Everything behind you was simply preparation for what is ahead. And what is ahead is better, brighter, and more blessed than anything you've known. The miracle will not only meet your needs, it will also restore your joy, increase your strength, and awaken your soul with new purpose. Type 888 to open doors of abundance. These final hours are holy. Every moment carries the weight of eternity. Every second that passes is an opportunity to step into the flow of divine provision, to walk through a door that was opened by grace and guarded by angels. But it is your decision to step through. Heaven cannot force your heart open, it must be willing. And so, even now, God gently whispers, "Let go of fear. Let go of doubt. Trust me again. Believe again." Because the miracle that is being offered is not about testing you, it's about loving you. It's about lifting you. It's about replacing the emptiness with overflow, the burden with blessing, the scarcity with sacred abundance. This moment is bigger than money. It is about your heart remembering that you are still chosen, still seen, still surrounded by favor that cannot be earned but is always available to those who believe. You were never called to live a life of scraping and worrying. You were created to thrive, to grow, to walk boldly in the life God handcrafted for you, a life filled with hope, peace, purpose, and more than enough. Let the final moments of this 48-hour window be filled not with hesitation, but with faith. Let your soul rise with the truth that something new is beginning, and that no force on earth or in the spirit can take from you what God has already declared as yours. You are walking into a season where every need will be met, every worry will be replaced with wonder, and every empty place will be filled with goodness. Archangel Michael says, "These sacred final hours are wrapped in mercy, covered in light, and crowned with a miracle so powerful it will leave you weeping in gratitude, not because of what you earned, but because of the love that never gave up on you, the love that never walked away, and the love that, even now, is pouring provision into every empty corner of your life." This is your final window to receive, to surrender, and to rise into everything heaven has been saving for you. God knows how long you've been holding on. He knows the moments you nearly let go. He saw you open your hands in surrender when all you had left was hope that something would change. And because of that hope, fragile as it sometimes felt, you were never forgotten. In fact, your name has been spoken in heaven more times than you could ever count, and the miracle that is unfolding now has been shaped by the love behind those prayers. This miracle is not random. It is not late. It is the answer to the cries you whispered in the dark, the solution to problems that seemed impossible, the blessing that will finally quiet the fear in your heart and allow you to breathe freely again. It is coming with divine speed and with a peace that passes all understanding, wrapping around your finances, your home, your future, and filling them with light. Type 1212 if you believe God is guiding you. The miracle of money that is arriving now is different from anything you've received before. It is not temporary. It is not shallow. It is not fleeting. It is deep, sacred, and tied to your destiny. It is meant to restore what was lost, repair what was broken, and unlock new doors that will lead you further into the purpose God designed just for you. What if you could unlock a secret brain wave that top scientists discovered inside the hippocampus, the very switch that signals wealth and abundance. Hidden from the public for decades, this breakthrough can rewire your mind to attract prosperity faster than you imagined. Picture the stress of bills replaced with financial freedom and new opportunities. Click the link in the video description and comments below to activate this ancient money wave and step into abundance today. Archangel Michael is watching over this hour with fierce love, ensuring that every force of darkness, every voice of fear, every lie of unworthiness is silenced in the presence of truth. And the truth is, you are worthy. You are chosen. You are loved. And nothing can stop what heaven has already written for you, unless you walk away from it yourself. This is why the message has grown louder. This is why the urgency has increased. Because heaven knows how close you are to breakthrough. The miracle is near, not weeks away, not years away, but right here, right now, within reach. And your belief in this moment will be the key that unlocks it. Do not be afraid to receive. Do not question whether you deserve it. God's love is not measured by merit. It is measured by grace. And grace is standing in front of you now, hands extended, asking you to let go of the old and embrace what is new. For too long, you've been surviving. Now it is time to live, to build, to give, to create, to rise without fear of falling. This money is not just for bills or debts, although those will be covered. It is for dreams you laid down because you thought they were too big. It is for visions you had as a child before life convinced you to shrink. It is for the healing of your household, the lifting of your spirit, and the rising of your voice again after silence. Every coin that heaven places into your life now carries the fingerprints of love, the voice of restoration, and the fragrance of divine timing. And all of it is still within reach, but not for long. The hours are slipping through heaven's clock, and though the light is still shining on your path, it is growing narrower with each moment. Not to frighten you, but to show you how sacred this timing is. God will not force you to receive. He will not break down the walls you've built. But He will knock gently, faithfully, again and again, and this may be the final knock before the door closes for a season. That is why the message is clear. That is why it has returned to you once more. Not because you missed it, but because God is merciful. He will always give you one more chance to believe, one more moment to respond, one more breath to say, "Yes, Lord, I receive." Say it now. Speak it aloud if you must. Let the heavens hear your faith. Let the angels rejoice in your surrender. Let the miracle flow freely, unhindered, into your life, filling the places that have been empty for far too long. This is your inheritance, not because you earned it, but because you belong to the one who gives good gifts to his children. You will see what you've prayed for. You will touch what you only once imagined. And when it happens, you will know, it came because you believed during the final moments, because you dared to say yes when it mattered most. Type 777 if you walk by faith. Archangel Michael says, the final countdown is no longer in the distance, it is here, softly echoing through these last sacred hours, drawing your heart into the most divine moment of release and restoration you have ever known. This miracle of money is still waiting, not out of hesitation, but out of mercy, giving your heart a little more time to open wide enough to receive all that heaven has already prepared for you. You do not need to chase it. You do not need to fight for it. You only need to rest in the truth that God has never withheld anything good from His beloved. This miracle is not about luck or timing by the world's standards. It is about love, patient, purposeful, powerful love that always moves when your heart is ready and your spirit says yes.